5, I think. Make sure. All right, let's do it.
East of the sun and west of the moon, we'll build a dream house of love, dear, near to the sun in the day, near to that moon at night. We'll live a lovely way, dear, living on love in the pale moonlight, just you and I. Forever and a day, love will not die, we'll keep it that way. Up among the stars we'll find a harmony alive to a lovely tune. East of the sun, west of the moon, dear. East of the sun and west of the moon.
All right, let's go. Aloha, everyone. Sorry for the little bit of a late start. Uh, uh,
Cameron
little.
needed to eat.
Yes, let me move things around. And again, today we are going to be talking about kind of our setup, prepping for the
The big
big
event.
online festival next weekend, or next week, I should
Yeah.
say. So we are very, very excited. Um, let's check in with people. Aloha, everyone. Oh, I see Neil.
Yes, hi everybody. It's awesome to see all of you guys. And my
Diana.
grandfather too. Hi Pop Pop. Good to see you.
Aloha, everyone. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because of, not being able to travel and stuff, Cameron hasn't gotten to meet a lot of his family, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll get a chance to go to Massachusetts and visit you and Mary, Pop Pop. I hope so, this year so you can meet him. He's very chatty and a very happy baby.
All right. And the packets are being put together. We will actually have a version 1.0 of the schedule up and running by this afternoon because we didn't.
It's not up yet.
Okay. So that should be set. We have a couple big announcements
Mm-hmm.
later in the stream as well. Now, the game plan, the game plan for today is I'm gonna be going over a little bit of our setup, just to help anyone who had questions about, you know, any of this going live and luckily, uh, we've I have a background in multimedia, and we've been doing a lot of this fun stuff for years now. So and we're always tweaking, and that's the thing about this kind of setup too, is that it's always changing. So I'm going to give you kind of a breakdown of the core components that we utilize to go live, and then we'll be doing a little demo on one of my favorite iPad apps, Notability, and showcasing how quickly you can get things done and use that in your live setting as well, or even just making arrangements. And then Sarah's going to do a mini lesson, and then we will have our guest kind of sound check people, artist, Christopher Davis Shannon. Yeah, Davis
Yep,
Shannon,
he's
not
first.
Shannon Davis. Davis Shannon. I always, his name is so long, so long. And then we'll have Aaron Chyme, and then Brittany Paiva, all the way from Oahu. So let's get started. Are there any questions that I can answer off the bat?
And is everything sounding okay, volume wise and everything? We've done our own tests here, but we always just like making sure. And I know that Cameron's being especially chatty this morning, so hopefully that's not too distracting for you guys.
Volume wise, I can bring this up. We'll try that. How's that for? Is that a better volume level? Oh, and camera just got really quiet too.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, thanks, Jody. And the thing is, the ukulele world gave us everything that we could have ever wanted. You know, we met because of the ukulele.
True.
We were able to raise a family because of the ukulele. So this is our way of helping nurture that scene. You know, the ukulele world is so fragile, I feel like sometimes, and so this is our chance to really help just showcase how much talent there is in the uke world, showcasing some of our you know inspirations in artists and people who are new to the scene really making great strides, and as well as giving back to the community that you know we owe so much to the volunteers and people who put on these crazy events and give us a platform to share our love with of the music and the ukulele. So
And some folks said the sound's okay. Some folks said it could come up just a hair.
okay, more volume. Okay. So usually when we're going live, we have it a little bit lower just in case things happen. Like I laugh really loud and we don't want things to really spike. But I will. So let's try and bring this up just a hair.
All right,
But
how's
this
that,
is good.
everybody?
This is a perfect way to keep testing because again, things, as you'll see in a second, things will always be changing. So we have to kind of adjust on the fly. So thank you guys for the heads up, and we definitely need this help as we keep changing things. Okay. Awesome. And again, if things change, you know, we
Oh,
can
good.
always
I'm
bring
glad
it
the
down
sound.
or bring
Yeah.
it back up.
Folks are saying it sounds better. That's great.
Awesome. You know, as long as this looks good, that's the main thing.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Okay, and also huge shout out to all the parents out there. It's hard, you know. Everyone's like saying, you know, you're not gonna really know what tired is, and you know we're like, oh, you know, we travel like 9 months out of the year, we'll be fine. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is it's a lot. And
I knew. You didn't know, but I knew how hard it would be.
oh, Michael Cohan, you're you know here in a perfect time because we are just about to kind of showcase our setup right now. So that said, I'm gonna run over to the cam, which is our little GoPro that's set up. And he is having fun.
He is having a great time.
I'm gonna switch to that camera.
Check in with the cam.
All right, start keeping up to any questions.
Sure thing. Hi, Cameron. He is just having a great time today.
Yeah. Okay. So right now we have Sarah's setup where we have a nice kind of mic on her. We're gonna switch it out for I think a lav mic next week to really ensure we don't pick up a lot of excess noise sound.
Yes.
You usually have a DSLR or a mirrorless camera to really get that nice quality. And a lot of people that I've talked to, you know, the past years, one of the big things I always talk about. Oh, the bagel, by the way.
Yes,
is-
my breakfast. I haven't had my breakfast yet. Pardon
I
me.
always talk about light. So lighting is so important, but you don't need to spend a fortune on light. For example, this guy here is about, I think around $130-ish, and like a $30 diffuser, but it really creates a really nice kind of not harsh light. It's very soft, and we're trying to diffuse it as much as possible so that it doesn't look like there's a flashlight in your eye.
And this one, if I remember right, has two diffusers on it, right?
Yeah,
There's the one on the inside and then the one on the outside.
Now we do have a couple stands that we do just to kind of brighten up the room just a hair. You can see all of our fusion bags in the corner there.
Yes.
We love our fusion bags. Now this is like the scariest cable, so we don't want to trip. But this leads us. So this is my workstation. This is my home base. Again, another one of those same exact lights, but the difference here is that I am bouncing all of that light off of this wall, so I have a ton of nice diffused light back at me. Now, this before we used to use anything with an HDMI out that had a clean HDMI out. We could use one of these cam links, which is about $100. But this will take any clean HDMI signal and let you connect it to your computer, so you can use the software that we're using for streaming is OBS, which is a free software, and it helps control everything. You can add overlays like that festival logo, etc., that we put on. But the problem with doing a bunch of multiple cameras is that a lot of this has to be handled by your computer. So what we invested in for this event was an HDMI switcher. This one is by Blackmagic Design. The cool thing about this is that this is right now the best bang for your buck. This was about $300, but you can have up to 4 different cameras and kind of go in between
Now,
those
somebody
cameras.
did ask, why such a big lens for your camera, Craig?
Why such a big lens? So, the lens that is on Sarah's camera is one of my favorite lenses in the world. I'm going to go back to that for a second. We have a 24 millimeter fixed lens, prime lens, that goes down to a 1.4 aperture, means you can get an extremely creamy background. I use that a lot for my photos. And this lens is a 15 to 35 zoom, and it has image stabilization, which for video work, that we do a lot of handheld stuff with, that's going to be incredibly useful to have that help stabilize things without necessary gimbal. But yes, that was a great question. And plus, this having a zoom lens is more versatile, but it doesn't give me quite that nice creamy look I want for like some of the photo stuff that we do. So having the 2 wide angles, and we have a bunch of other lenses in the office as well, depending on the situation. Just like in ukulele, right? It's always one more that you can use for a different situation. Like, high G today, low G tomorrow, baritone, the next day. Now, this switcher is, again, the best bang for your buck. So instead of spending, buying 4 of these guys to do all your different cameras, this guy can take in all of those different inputs, and it processes it all here, and then has an output to your computer that acts as a webcam. So that's what the computer is thinking, that all the signals from here is like a webcam, and it's doing most of the processing here to take a load off of our computer, especially as we're infusing kind of Skype in there as well. It was just starting to bog down the computer a little bit, so we wanted to make sure to help with that. This little guy, the Stream Deck, is what controls all of my kind of settings on OBS. So I could, I could switch to like an artist graphic that we made that we'll put on Neil Chin again, things like that. So like a lot during the live event, during the festival, I'm gonna be not only monitoring audio through here and making sure we don't clip with the different sources like from Skype and whatnot, but I will also be kind of keeping tabs of gearing up the next shot, the next video section. So we're wearing a lot of hats on that day. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day, but it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna see me like super panicky in the beginning, and then kind of just relaxing as we go along, I think. Now, any questions before I move on? Hey, Herbotta Jr. This is not necessarily a completely new setup. Like I said, a lot of the only thing that we added in the past 6 months was that HDMI switcher here. But everything else we did actually piece together over the years. The Denver Ute community is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Brenda's there.
Yeah, oh my god. It's so good to see you guys. And again, it's insane how fast our day-to-day can change. And So again, this kind of thing helped keep us a little sane working on it. It was a lot of work. We're still working really hard on it, but it's nice even for us to look forward to next week and just reconnecting with our friends and playing and sharing some music. Um, oh, yes, Kevin, I can definitely list equipment in the description. And yes, uh, you are in the right place for the April 4th event. Let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, Barbara. Right now, I'm not going to be moving much during our normal setup, but I just for this one, I'm kind of walking around. Um, let's see. But I'll definitely make a list of some of the things that we use and recommend. Let's see.
Somebody has the hiccups.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so if there's no other questions on gear so far, I'm gonna do a quick demo of why I love Notability on the iPad. But let me put the cam back where it belongs.
Yes, though Cam is starting to fall asleep in my arms.
Now, for good audio, we tend to forget there's things that we can do without necessarily buying a ton of money. For example, if you're using your iPhone or iPad to stream, one of the biggest mistakes that we do is that we have it right on our desk, like right here. Now, the issue with that is if that's where, not only is that not the most flattering angle, but if we're thinking about mic placement, that's where your mic is too. So you're picking up way more of your ukulele than you are of your vocals. So usually I always have people raise it at least eye level. It's a little more flattering. I like to go a little bit higher so you can actually see the uke and whatnot. Um, a little bit more, but you still, if the mic is there, you're getting more of the important thing, which is your vocals. So when Herb sings all the time, it's always, well, not too high because, but uh, let's see. Oh, awesome. Um, now, oh, that's right, iPad. So, one of the cool things about OBS again is that you can have multiple inputs and that control. Oops. Now with let me see if this is working. I'm gonna try and switch to the iPad. There we go. So Notability is a fantastic app. One of my favorite things is that it has like a snapping function. I think you do have to pay a little bit, like $3 or something, for it to really work. But for example, I'm gonna make this kind of squiggly, like my normal handwriting is. If you hold it down, it snaps to that grid. And again, you can turn the grid off later when you're exporting it as a PDF to share. But it's one of the things that I love being able to quickly kind of dial in to make a grid. Being able to delete things is so incredible. So I could do something like this. I can select my grid. I can duplicate it, drag it up, have it snap to the grid. And then if I want to add circles, I can just draw a circle, hold it down, let it snap, and boom. From there, I can do a ton of things after the fact, like fill it in, or I could have, let me duplicate that, drag it to this guy to do a C9, and then maybe to show the difference in that I can fill it in with a different color. But this is how we can color code things really easily. This
When-
is.
I was just going to say when we made our
Mm.
Christmas we had our Christmas album, and then we made a companion digital book with it, so you could play along with us. We used this program in order to be able to create a really nice looking digital book for everybody.
Yes, let me pull up some of the. So, like, for example, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. We
Yes.
had.
And take away the grid.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
so that they can see, because we took away the grid for you, but we used the grid to make sure everything looked really, really nice. And yes, you could certainly add finger numbers to the circles if you wanted to. You just have to make sure that the text, you might want to make the things bigger than what we did, because I think it would be a little too crowded the size that we made ours, because we just needed the space. But yes, you can.
Oh, and this is again Notability, and I'll put this in the list
Yeah.
when I write everything out.
Yeah, it's a really great program. And then somebody had asked about doing better lighting with just using their iPad and stuff, but I'm not sure if that's.
Going back to better lighting using your iPad. Again, what you can do is even desk lamps. So to get that nice diffusement, again, you can have a desk lamp that's close to the wall but bouncing off of like a white wall to kind of act as this gigantic, nice umbrella-ish type of vibe. You don't want a lot of like harsh lights pointed directly at you if you can help it. Um, and I've seen people that have like desk lamps that are lower than their face and they get that Halloween effect. Again, you want to think of how we perceive light naturally. So, with the sun, it's always coming from above. You want typically to stay true to that. It's going to feel and look way more natural. And it's hard to know exactly why some things don't feel right, but usually that's the case. It's all about height in the light and how much diffusement you're getting.
Now, do you know, Craig, if Notability works on other devices besides Apple products? Because some people are asking about that.
Of course it's Louise. Um, the new iPad is really cheap right now, and is capable with Apple Pencil, and hopefully they give us some iPads for the shout out. No, I'm not. Here's the thing. I love Android devices. Unfortunately, because of how hard-headed the two companies are, it's so hard to kind of be invested in both. So for us in college, I kind of jumped into the Apple world because of for multimedia. That's really what it was all about. Apple was the kind of industry leader in that sense. So that's why I'm kind of stuck in that Apple world. But I there's probably some very close equivalents. I would love to do some research, and I'll let you know the notes if I find anything for Androids. Yeah. Awesome. But again, if you're using like Skype or if you're using Zoom, I think there are settings where you can just plug in your iPad and you can show that screen while you're teaching. This is becoming such a incredible tool to have, being able to change things on the fly live, and even if it's like to take requests, or if let's say you're doing a songwriting workshop and you're taking notes down, and this is a great way to get really involved with your audience. All right. Now, Sarah, did you want to do your mini lesson? And
Sure.
again, if there's any questions on this too, definitely let us know in comments or in emails. Um, how do you slide on Notability? What do you mean by slide?
Because you can just use your finger to scroll just like all the rest of their programs, because we're using the iPad for it.
Well, I think Herb Alta Jr. is buying everyone here iPads.
Oh, yes.
So.
Okay, so let's switch up the thing. And just so you know, Craig, I put Cameron is now napping in his pack and play.
Should we check Oh, in the pack and play. Oh, okay.
I put him in the pack and play because it wasn't as bright.
Okay. Hopefully, I don't laugh really loud and wake
Yeah,
him up.
because it was a little too bright right here. He wasn't
Yeah.
quite settling, but he actually, as soon as I put him in the pack and play, he was out. But he'll probably wake up during this. So don't worry, everybody. You'll get to see Cameron. So what I wanted to actually go over today is just some fun changes for Satin Doll. We're only really going to focus on the A section, just because I want to do a little mini lesson. That way we can get to our special guests coming up. So I've written out some pretty simple chords for it. I think the hardest part is going to be the bar chords. But looking at it, just so you know, you'll see that I did it as a box chart. Each box is 4 beats, and it's D minor to G7, and then in the next box you see that little symbol. That just means play what was in the box prior. Okay, I was just trying to save writing and just keep things tidy. So grab your ukes. And we're going to just play through the A section. So we have our D minor, G7. The next chords after that are an E minor and an A7. And then we have a D7 and a D flat 7, a C, and an A7. So they're not too bad. So let's give it a shot. All right, D minor. Oh, good, I'm in tune. All right. At a nice tempo dolorno. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cigarette holder again, which wigs me E minor over A7. She digs me D7 and that in D flat. That's Satin Doll C, A7, and then it repeats because you get to do it twice. Baby, shall we go out, skip an E minor, careful amigo. Your flippin' D7 speaks Latin, that's Satin Doll. And we'll just stay on C. 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it goes into the B section. But looking at this is just very simplified chords to it. Now, in order to have a song, and I mean, this worked, I could sing the song, it sounded great. But in order for songs to sound a bit more jazzy, usually you use a slightly more complex voicings. So, for example, you'll see D minor 7 instead of a regular D minor, or E minor 7 instead of, E minor. And one thing that that I think is actually kind of hard about this one is actually that E minor A7 business. They're not hard chords in and of themselves, but the jump going from one to the other is kind of a pain, no matter how you try to switch up which fingers you use. But if we were to actually use more jazz-like voicings like D minor 7 and G7, that would also work really well. And then my question to you, you'll notice that I have a scale written underneath. So I'm going to ask some questions. Oh yeah, somebody said, I noticed you're using your middle finger for D7. Yes, I am. Especially coming from an A7, it makes a lot more sense for transitions to just do that. Also, it's my longest finger, and it's going to actually be easier to bar with your middle sometimes than with your index. So I would definitely, if you haven't tried barring with your middle finger, give it a shot, because I actually find that sometimes it just makes chords a lot easier, and it can make your transitions a lot easier too. Remember, never be married to how you learned your chords, because you should be able to play every chord that you know 3 to 4 different ways, depending on what chord comes before and what chord comes after it. All right? Thank you for such a great question, Carol. So, looking at the scale, I'm going to ask a question, and I don't ask trick questions. So, D to E, is that a half step or a whole step? I will wait for just a second to see if people will, somebody said the streaming stopped.
No.
Nope, we're still going. All right. D to E is a whole step, and you'll see on my scale it is a whole. Yep. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everybody. Yes, whole step. Okay. So, and then G to A, is that a half step or a whole step? Also a whole step. So, one thing that I like to do is I like to think a lot about patterns. So, let's look at a D minor 7 for a second. So a D minor 7 is just D minor with a friend, and the friend is going to be your pinky added to the third fret of your A string. So it's 2, 2, 1, and 3. Now, instead of playing G7, I'm actually going to make us play a G9 chord. All you have to do for that is just scoot your pinky down in pitch, boop, 1 fret, and now I'm holding 2, 2, 1, 2. Now, some of you may say, oh, I can't put 2 fingers here. You could use 1 finger and cover 2 strings and do it this way if you wanted to. I tend to use all of mine. But anyway, so we have D minor 7, 2, 2, 1, 3 to G9, which is just 2, 2, 1, 2. Okay? Now, we had said that D to E was a whole step. So all you have to do to find an E minor 7 that is very similar to this D minor 7 is go up a whole step, which is 2 frets. So we're going to take our shape and go up 1, 2. And now I'm holding 4, 4, 3, and 5. So there is your E minor 7. And if I just scoot my pinky down in pitch, just like I did with the shape prior, I now have my A9 chord, which is a fine substitution for your A7, just like the G9 is a fine substitution for your G7. So, really slow, we are going to play D minor 7, move your pinky down in pitch, play G9. Now let's scoot everything up, 1, 2, and scoot that pinky up, E minor 7, move that pinky down. All right, so really slow. Let's just go through. We're going to do 2 beats of each of those chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor, G9, scoot up, E minor, A9. Scoot back down, D minor, scoot your pinky. Move up, E minor, A9. Okay, so that's going to be some replacements that we are doing there. So that's pretty cool. The other reason why I like doing this is because I could play the E minor 7 in first position, and if I wanted to, which is the open 2, open 2. But the thing that I like to do is if you look at the sheet music, you'll notice that the melody line actually does something really cool. You have boot up, boot up, boot up. So the first note's an A. And then when you move on to the next phrase happening during the E minor, it's starting on a B note. A to B is a whole step. So what's happening is the melody is the exact same rhythmic phrase, just up a whole step, just like your chords. So why not have the pattern of your chords reflect that so that you are actually complementing the melody? All right. Sorry, this stuff gets me very excited. So next up, the D7 part. I want to actually show you guys something that you'll see done commonly. So you have D7, D flat 7. Sometimes you'll see it written as A minor 7 to D7 and then A flat minor 7 to D flat 7. For keeping things simple, I'm just using the dominant 7 chords and we're not doing that 2-5 movement. So D to D flat is a half step or a whole step. It is a half step, right? D flat to C, is that a half step or a whole step? Also a half a step, because we're doing D to D flat to C. Now, how far away, if I'm going backward now, is C to A? Because you'll notice it's a C chord going to an A7 chord. And I'm just going to hold the C note on my A string just to sort of visually show you. So you have a C note, then it goes to a B note, half step, and then another half step would be B flat to A, right? So you could actually do, yep, there you go. You could actually do a really neat trick where you could walk down to that A7 chord from the C. But we're going to make one small alteration. Instead of playing a regular C chord, we're actually going to play a C7 chord. C7 chord I want us to use is barring the 3rd fret, and I'm actually going to use my index for this one. Bar the 3rd fret, and my middle finger is going to come over to the 4th fret on the C string. So I'm holding 3, 4, 3, 3. C7. If I was to scoot it down in pitch, it would be a B7. Scoot it down in pitch one more, it would be a B flat 7. Scoot it down and pitch one more, I got A7. So, so again, that was C7, 3rd fret. Move it down, and then A7. Pretty neat. Now, the D7 and the D flat 7 should probably move as well, because we can actually have that movement start even higher. So Craig, would you mind switching to the next screen?
Yep.
And I actually have it all written out, so you don't have to worry about memorizing it. So you will notice the first measure is D minor 7 to G9, and then you'll see I wrote the number 3 in red next to your E minor 7 A9, so you remember you're on the 3rd fret for that. Now, this C7 shape that we were playing, if you move it up 1, 2, a whole step up in pitch, you are now playing a D7, and you are on the 5th fret. So I can play, I'm on the 2nd line, 5th fret D7. If I move it down, it's a half step. And then you'll notice that the C7 and B7 are in the same measure, so they each get 2 beats. So you get 2 beats of this one, 2 beats of B7, same with the B flat, and then the A7. Yeah! So, super tempo del lerno, everybody. Let's go through it. All right. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor, G9, D minor, G9. Scoot up to the 3rd fret. E minor, A9, E minor, A9. Now the 5th fret, D7, you have 4 beats. D flat 7. Now these are 2 beats. C, B, B flat, A7. Yeah! And it's a great way to kind of change things up and add some interest to the song. Let's do it again. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor, G9. Back, D minor, G9. Move it up, E. E minor, A9. E minor, A9. 5th fret. D7, move it down. D flat 7 and C. B, B flat, A. Again, D minor, G9. D minor, G9. E minor, A9. E minor, A9. 5th fret. D7, D flat 7. C, twice, A7. So that is a really cool way, again, that you can kind of spice things up. Anytime you have a dominant 7 chord, you can always make it a dominant 9 chord, which is what we did to our G7 and our A7. And we were able to make that C chord a C7 chord, partially because C7 is actually based on, or C dominant 7 is based on a major chord. They actually share 3 of the same notes. There's just 1 extra note that comes to the party between a C and a C7. So I do have, just because I know that we have more to do today, if we could switch to the next page, Craig. I actually do have the complete song. So if you guys are wanting to go through and play it all, we certainly can. You'll notice that I wrote the song form at the top. It's AABA, and you'll see that I said 2nd ending so that we know when it's time to go to the B section, the chords are a little bit different. And in our B section, it's not too bad. We have a G minor 7, which is just open to 1, 1, to a C7. And that repeats in the next measure. And then we have, I gave you the easy F major 7. That's the one that's the 5, 5, open, open. And that lasts for 8 beats. Then I gave you the easy A minor 7 to the easy D7. Though you can use any version you want. And that repeats. And then the G7. So I'm just going to go through and play. Please feel free to play along. We'll just go through the song once, and then we'll be able to move on and get to see our first guest, which will be Christopher Davis Shannon. All right, a nice tempo del lerno, everyone. And I'll try to call things out as well. So get your D minor 7 ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor, G9. D minor, G9. Move up to the 3rd fret. E minor, A9. E minor, A9. 5th fret. D7. Move it down. D flat 7. And then 2 beats. 2 beats. 2 beats. A7. Repeat. D minor, and G9. D minor, G9. Move it up. E minor, A9. E minor, A. 5th fret. D7. D flat 7. And then we need a C major 7. G7. All right. G minor. B section. G minor, C7. I'm playing it cool as can be. F major. Easy chord, A minor. I'll give it a whirl, but I ain't for no girl catching me. And if you want, you can do the stop. Switch your Rooney to the top. But telephone numbers, well, you know, doing my rumbas with Uno and that satin doll. Let's do the walk down because it makes a good turnaround. Back to the 5th fret. And that satin doll. And one last time, A7. And that satin doll. And then we'll just end on a C major 7 because I didn't actually have an ending prepped for you. So if you wanted to really end it, if I want to really end it, that's a really great turnaround, right? And what I would probably do instead of jumping up for the very, very last time, instead of going to that 5th fret, I'd probably do and that satin doll and do a bunch of different C's. So what I did there was, so I have and that satin doll, and the last time a D7, but in the first position, and that satin doll, and then I could always end here, or and I could play a different C major 7, or I could do a C major 7 up here to end it. 2, 3, 4, or even end on maybe a C6-9. I love this chord. It's a beautiful one. It's 5-4-5-5. But there's all kinds of ways to end it. I just wanted to really get you through the A section because that has some interesting stuff in it. And I can always do another lesson where we get much more in depth about doing different jazz endings as well as making this B section a bit more interesting as well. But
yeah, you can also add like those harmonics.
Ooh.
Yeah, really nice stuff. There's tons of,
yes,
that's why
this is just a little taste.
It's always funny when people are like, oh, I don't know how to end that song. There's a million possibilities, Brian Tolentino will play like every single note on the fretboard,
yes. The fairy dust method.
The fairy dust. And see what sticks, but it's all good. It's all
nice. So people are interested in jazz endings. So maybe we can make that one of our other live streams. I can go through like the Count Basie ending, the Ellington or Take the A Train ending, and all of that stuff. I could always go over.
And again, I said in the comments, but email us at chymaisel@gmail.com. We'll have it on the bottom, but we'll email you guys those PDFs if you want them.
Oh, Ashley, I'm glad you're using the endings that we went over in our video exchanges. Awesome. That's awesome. Ashley's one of our artist work students, and she actually had the question of, what are some of these jazz endings? So luckily I was able to answer her through our video exchange program so that she could get some.
And just a quick shout out to our artist work students as well.
Yeah.
It's awesome to really get to know you guys through the video exchanges and whatnot. So it's, thank you guys for your support. A quick shout out. We do have a 15%
Oh
off
yeah,
code that they're letting us promote
for the
for Artist
festival.
Works for the festival. Fest 15,
Mm-hmm.
FEST 15,
Mm-hmm.
is a 15% off our Artist Works curriculum
Yeah.
school. Now, that said, I'm going to get in touch with our first call in guest
Yee, this is
today.
exciting.
And we will have to switch to. Oh, I gotta switch iPad off. All the buttons. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right. We have to put headphones on for
Oh yeah, so that we
this.
can hear our guest, and so that you don't get a crazy echo.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there we go.
I am also enjoying. There is an amazing text chain that we are a part of, that we are getting. I keep getting all of these notifications on my iPad from folks who have woken up very early in Hawaii to
Yes.
join us. So thank you guys so much, all of you folks in that text chain who are watching and being up so early in the morning.
I know it is early. Even up here, it feels early. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have. So now I'm calling Christopher Davis Shannon on Skype.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna see if we can connect everything without a big problem.
Oh,
Uh oh. Ooh, there we go. All right, now
What's up, Craig?
Christopher,
It's Sarah.
so let me hook you in. Let's see. Now you probably won't be able to see us.
What's up, Craig? It's Sarah. There we go. I had to turn off the YouTube stream
oh,
that I was
true,
watching.
right?
Oh, there we go. Now,
Makes it a lot easier.
oh my gosh. So, oh my god, this is a little weird picture in picture in picture.
Whoa,
But
picture,
that's
picture,
that's
picture.
it's all good. It's all we'll make this a lot easier later. Now, I absolutely love that we got a chance to hang out a little bit last year and get to meet you and hear you perform. Um, for people who don't know you, describe your style of music that you enjoy playing in 5 words
In
or
five,
less.
do I have? Oh, or less.
Yeah.
Okay. Old music.
So that it's always funny because when we first heard you play, we expected to see like a much older gentleman playing, and it was so refreshing that your style is so old school and it's so different, and we absolutely loved it. And thank you again for joining us for this online festival, taking the time
Yeah.
even today to do this kind of tech rehearsal.
So happy to be here. And I have to tell you one thing, Craig. I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm actually 127 years old. I've just aged one.
Wow. So you're like Rob Lowe. You just don't
Yeah,
age.
you really just have to moisturize. That's all it comes down to.
Oh, I'll have to remember that. I'll start moisturizing Cameron right now.
Oh my god.
Prepare him for his future.
Yes, exactly.
Now, before we even get into all the awesome lessons and tutorials that you have out there, can you actually play us a little something?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. How about I do one of those old songs? This one's from 1924.
Oh, I love this song.
Day is ending, birds are wending back to the safety of every little thing they love. That shades fire, lovers calling what makes that world go round. Nothing but love. When whippoorwill call, midnight is night, no light, my blue hand, step to the right, in the white light, so happy and my blue hand. Yes, it's smiling face, a fireplace, not a cozy room. Little love nest and Nashville's way, with all those roses blue. Where's Miami? Baby next to me, yes indeed, we're so happy tonight. I see a smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room. Little loveness that nestles well with those roses bloom. Where's Miami? Baby, next spring, I guess indeed. We're so happy in mind. See, we're so happy in mind. Now we're happy in mind. My blue.
Nice. All right,
Woo.
now couple quick things before we move on, because this is exactly why we're doing these kind of tech rehearsals. I know usually you don't have headphones on,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, I think when you plugged it in, it's actually reading the mic from your headphones.
So
Oh no, well we will fix that. I will use an external mic that my fiddle player stole, so I have to run and get it.
But the cool thing is that because it was kind of adding like a little bit of scratchiness, it almost sounded like you're coming from a vinyl, like an old vinyl. Like it was actually pretty.
That's just how it really sounds.
But again, this is absolutely why I love doing like these little rehearsals and
Yeah.
but that was absolutely gorgeous. I love your right hand work. You know, that's where I feel like a lot of that fun and energy comes from.
Oh
Not
yeah, that's
only
where
your,
it all is.
yeah. And that's what I love about that kind of style too, because it's so deceiving. Because a lot of the left hand stuff isn't that tricky.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean you could just play open position chords all day and be happy as long as the right hand swings. That's all that matters.
Yes.
And that's actually the little workshop you'll be teaching, isn't it? It's about swing.
Yeah, we're doing just the basics of right hand swing technique so that we can get a decent groove going, and then y'all can worry about the chords.
Woo woo! Awesome.
Yes. Now, I know you have a ton going on. What are some of your things, excuse me, that you want to kind of talk about that you're doing lately?
Oh gosh, well, I got so much going on now because I'm stuck in my apartment, so I'm just cooking up new ideas every day. So I've still got my Patreon going where I'm teaching every week, and I actually have a new arrangement coming out there. We do one a month, just a full solo arrangement. So I wrote up Nearness of You for this month.
Oh, nice.
One of my
cool.
favorite ballads, which is nice. We got this little campanella style intro, and it's cool. And I'm actually starting next week a little series called Checking In on YouTube that's just phoning in with other musicians and having them do a little interview and play some tunes from around the world to see how everyone's doing right now and just throw some support to some other people. And I'd love to get you guys on there after the festival's over and you're all you're not totally swamped. So I'll be hitting you up for that, guys. But I actually have
Awesome.
I have Aaron coming on as well as
Nice.
Heidi and Daniel this week, so we can talk about this festival a little bit as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
And I know we had a chance to kind of chat during your live interview with Ohana.
Yeah.
Like it feels like years ago at this point. And some of the things that I loved hearing you talk about was kind of the feeling that you got when you kind of entered the uke realm in that sense, and things that kind of surprised you, things that you didn't even realize, you know.
Definitely. And I think that's gotten even stronger now that everything's shut down. You still see this huge sense of community in the uke world. I mean, in music in general, but especially in the uke world online. It's just even so much more welcoming, and it's really a wonderful thing to see right now.
Awesome.
And then the only other thing, honey, is that our picture is cutting him off a little bit, so I don't know if we'll have to. I know that when it's actually time for you to teach and everything, we will not be in the corner.
Oh yes,
of the
it will
screen.
typically once he's teaching and performing, we're actually just gonna look like. Let me get out of that.
Yeah, for interviews and stuff though, what we can certainly make our little box a little bit smaller.
Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna look just like this without us, butting in. But
Yes.
I gotta say, Christopher, your name is so long that
Hey, don't blame me. Blame others.
that I feel like every time we did like a poster or a thing, like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 lines worth of names. It's
It's true.
amazing. It's gotta be on purpose. It's
That's how you stand out. I knew I was getting into the entertainment industry from the moment I was born. So.
it's amazing. Um, uh, because I know a lot of people are craving new things to work on. Is there anything? I know that there's a lot of unique stuff that you do, but is there anything in particular that you have on your Patreon that would be a great uh, thing to try out for first timers in
For
that
first
genre?
In that genre, actually, yeah, there are, because I've been releasing these solo arrangements along with a full like half-hour to hour-long video lesson,
Oh,
breaking it down
fantastic!
the past year. And really, those lessons are very accessible. They're not. There's a couple that are really tough, but as long as you're comfortable with open position chords and you want to put in the work with some of the tougher right hand techniques, they're really a great place to start and a great basis. And even with that, I have a whole host of play-alongs of these old swing tunes as well, which are great for just getting your left hand around
Awesome.
some of the more atypical voicings that we use in the style.
And we have a couple of people just asking about the instrument that you're currently playing. Do you have?
This is a handmade instrument by Liam Kirby in Bristol, UK. Wonder Commer Instruments. He makes these instruments entirely by hand, no power tools at all.
Wow, nice.
And even did this beautiful little moon inlay for me. It's a kind of throwback to the old banjo fretboards of the late 20s. So
Nice.
yeah, this is a wonderful, wonderful instrument.
Very cool.
Oh,
Thank you.
fantastic. Are there any questions that we can help answer before we let you go?
I don't think so. No, I'll get the sound squared away, and I'm gonna beef up the lighting a little bit so the background's washed out. We get a little more pop, and we'll be good to go.
Sounds great. And again, if you want more information on Christopher or any of our artists that we're featuring next week, go to craigandsarah.com. We have a whole virtual merch table, vending
Yes.
area with stores that are giving discounts as well, and everyone's links to music and their Patreons and their everything. You can purchase his next born son. There's so many things that.
You can have my cat if you want to.
No, but Christopher, thank you for being so incredibly positive and an absolute joy to hang out with.
Yes,
And
thank
again,
you.
we love your
Thanks for
music.
putting
We
this
love
back
what you
together.
bring to the uke world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you guys next week.
See you
Sounds
next
great.
week.
Aloha.
Bye.
Cheers.
Well, that was a lot of fun. He is such a nice guy. And he has a kitty cat who is adorable. I follow him on the Twitter, and I see the kitty cat there on occasion. So it's pretty awesome. And I think up next we are going to have our dear friend Mr. Aaron Chyme joining us. He, some of you may or may not know this, he actually is a luthier as well as an amazing musician. He has Beansprout ukuleles. I believe their website is thebeansprout.com. And he and his wife Nicole tour and travel and teach, and their band name is The Quiet American. And Aaron is, gosh, I think Craig has known Aaron for longer than I have, but I think the first time I met Aaron was in 2012. But just that whole family with Aaron, Nicole, and their son Henry, such awesome, awesome folks. And so I feel really, really privileged to know them, and I'm just really excited that we're able to have, they're going to both join us. Aaron's going to be teaching a separate workshop, and then they're going to do a performance together at our little festival next week. So it's pretty doggone exciting, I think. So I know Craig is getting everything all set up with Skype so that we can get started to talking with Aaron, because I think we've got him already on the line, which is exciting.
Let's see.
Yeah. I like that Lex Luthier. Yes. Douglas Adam fans, I see.
Ooh.
Ooh, there he is.
Oh,
Hi.
okay. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Now,
Do I need to turn lights on or anything, or does this look okay? Or
could you turn it sideways?
Oh yeah.
But actually, it looks great.
Yay!
I gotta hold on. Let me get. Hold on.
Yay! And thank you guys also for joining us for this sort of tech thing, because it's great to be able to get the feedback like, oh, the mic is scratchy because it's hitting his instrument, or the background's washed out, etc. We really do appreciate
Yeah.
that you guys are taking the time to let us know these things, and that you're joining us for these, so that we can make sure that things run as smooth as possible, because we have quite a marathon next weekend. It's going to be, I think, 6 hours is what we have everything timed down to.
It's probably
And
going to be closer to 7, I think.
yeah, probably. But we're going to do
Well,
our best.
You can drag me kicking and screaming into the 21st century. I'm okay with that. Yes.
Oh, and somebody did ask Aaron, how is your ankle?
Well, I don't have my boot on today. I have
Yay.
a regular pair of shoes.
That's
That's
fantastic.
good.
Nice.
Yeah, I can put weight on it now, and I can shuffle around. I'm not really using crutches, but I'm walking slow and funny. But it's going pretty good.
Awesome. I'm glad you're healing up well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to fiddle with some settings. But I think everything looks good. Aaron, how long have we known each other?
Well, funny you should mention that. I just got off the phone with Scott Aller.
Oh my gosh. Awesome.
And he said hello, and I've got another bit of technology to share with you afterwards that Scott's putting out right now that would be helpful for you. But probably 2006 or 7.
Wow.
Maybe. Does that sound right?
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
been a while.
I think so. Yeah, Boulder Acoustic Society is how I met Aaron Chyme at, I think, the Eugene Uktoberfest.
So you were still in college.
Yes.
So that 2008.
Yes.
Right.
I don't even remember.
It could have been 6. Honey.
It's I don't know. Everything blurs so much.
Why was it so blurry?
Good question, Aaron.
So a little bit of a backstory. I used to play like 5 nights out of the week at like all of the downtown bars in Eugene, Oregon, and it was like incredibly hard to pay for drinks.
I'll be right back. I hear somebody's waking up.
Okay, I'm gonna switch to that then. So it was there was a point in my life where there was a lot of booze. There's a lot of booze.
That's okay. We made it. We made it out.
Yes,
We'll be okay.
yes. We we made it out okay. Oh my gosh. But like even back then, it's been incredible to follow you. Like I mean, there even like when people get their degrees in something and they do something for a living that's completely, not even related, I feel like sometimes kind of watching you, like at the time when I met you, I didn't realize that you were making instruments and all that too. It was like literally just a really good musician. And as I got to know you better, it was amazing to learn more about what you and Nicole do. So do you want to talk a little bit about your timeline with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking with my mom about that a little bit this morning, actually, on FaceTime. Nicole and I went to school to be music teachers. And even out in the musical festival world that we had been living in until recently, we really see ourselves as educators. So we're planning all the things that we teach you at these festivals, not just for this moment, but as part of these larger curriculums of music. And Nicole taught in the public schools for 8 or 9 years. I just taught for a year in public schools. But we still approach everything that way. So how we run a workshop, how we approach a room, how we take a stage, it's all kind of still goes back to us being music teachers. And then along the way, though, Nicole and I were also very interested in art and making stuff. And over time, the art and the making stuff has integrated itself into our musical worlds. So when I write out a music book, Nicole recopies it by hand so it looks beautiful. And so our music teaching books become folk art in their own way, right? So our goal over the last 4 years since I stopped working with Maisel was to find out how we could integrate all our music and art into the same branding, So a great example is a new project that's on the bench this morning that no one's ever seen is we redid our string packets.
Oh, cool.
And we were getting them printed by the folks in Michigan before, and they were in plastic packaging, and it just didn't match our brand, right?
Yeah.
So Nicole drew a picture, and we carved it onto a stamp.
Oh, cool.
And then we ordered envelopes, and then I sat out here last night and stamped envelopes. And you can see it doesn't look perfect, right? It's definitely done by hand.
Yeah.
And the not perfectness of it is part of our brand, right? Like, not perfect. But you know, it's like a little handmade bit of folk art for your strings to come in. So like, that's our brand. And
nice.
how can this all go together? And yeah, so building instruments and Nicole's art and our music, just trying to make it all fit together. And now we're all homeschooling too.
No, it's you know, this is another reason why for us it was so important to really showcase some of our friends who are doing, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you do music for a living, that's so easy, that's so much fun. I mean, yes, it's fun, but there's so much behind the scenes that we have to keep up with, you know, not only our musicianship, but just the everyday plus, you know, we don't have that 9 to 5, you know, we have like a 9 to you know, midnight kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have jobs and we work 100 hours a week, right?
No.
Like, and for us to, for us, it's difficult to remember the balance because we're kind of constantly blowing in the wind towards which end of the business needs help, and so we're just always putting out fires, and then something else is always neglected, right? So for us, it's hard to remember, you know, like, okay, well, when's the next concert? How many things do we have to play for it? What are we going to play? And then that's all the practicing I can sometimes get in because I'm in the wood shop so much or playing with Henry or, you know, taking care of the garden or whatever. There's just only so much time. Or then it's like, oh, you're going to go to England for 3 weeks. Well, you can't build instruments that month then.
Yeah.
So like, don't take orders for that month. There's going to be disappointed people, you know, like thinking how to balance it all. It's a ton of work.
Now, right now, are you still how heavily kind of out are you booked? Are you from your current instruments?
We're actually now starting to take orders for October.
Wow.
So we actually have gotten several orders since people have been locked up, which it either makes no sense or makes a lot of sense. I can't quite put my finger on it. But yeah, we're still getting some orders,
nice.
Which is good. But there's been some unanticipated impacts. Like I had, you know, we're going to be going to all these festivals this spring, so I had built instruments to take the festivals to sell, and now we can't go sell them in person. So now I've been having to sell them on the internet, and that's a whole different world.
Do you have any on hand that will be on the internet shortly?
Yeah, I'll show you two that no one's seen yet.
Ooh.
I don't know when I'm going to sell these yet, but this is a little Myrtle.
Oh wow.
Alto ukulele.
Nice.
Check out that fretboard's almost as good as the one that's on your banjo uke.
No, ours is better.
Oh. And there's one more. This one actually has the clamps for the bridge still on it, but it's got walnut back and sides.
Nice.
That's a big tenor instrument with a fur top. So, but I'm trying to space them out too because there is only so much demand, and everyone's kind of flooded right now with all the online stuff, and so I don't want to flood as well. You know.
Someone asked, did you say alto uke?
Yes.
So what is an alto uke?
Well, I made it up. So.
Of course. I think I just woke the baby. Sorry.
Yeah, people on like Facebook will be like people who don't know me will be like, there is no alto uke, and I'll be like, yes, there is. And they'll be like, no, it's not. There's only soprano, concert, tenor, baritone. I'll be like, there is an alto uke. This is it right here. And they're like, no, there's not. That doesn't exist. And I'm like, here it is. Like, I made it up. It's like halfway between a soprano and a concert. What it was is that when we worked at Miyamoe, like 75% of the people wanted tenor ukes. And then there was a handful of people who wanted baritones and a handful of people who wanted a smaller instrument. But we had 5 or 6 different small instruments. and it didn't make sense to me to like have to gear up and tool up to have all that for like soprano, super soprano, 12 fret concert, 14 fret concert. Like it was just too much. And so I just designed one small instrument that's like between the size of a soprano and a concert.
Now, out of curiosity, do you have anything recently strung up that you could sample for people who've never heard your instruments before?
Yeah, I have one over here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, it's funny. This one, it's you guys have probably seen the last issue of Ukulele Magazine, and then the next one that's coming out. There's a big series about me building a ukulele for Nicole.
Oh.
And that's been cool. But the secret behind that though is first I built Nicole this instrument, and she played it for a year and she didn't really fall in love with it. She just wasn't her thing. So the newer one I built for her, now she loves it, and this one has been hanging around the shop since then, and I've just been playing it.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a Myrtle tenor. It was rejected by my wife, but I will play it.
Yeah, so this is the one Aaron brought up earlier. This is one he made for us. Let's see if he'll focus on that. See, look at that. Look at that volcano fretboard.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. We got to hang out and do some media work with Aaron and Nicole, and we got to pick our own fretboard. So I mean, a lot of fun. Very different sound for us, but it's super, super cool. Thank you again for that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
When I practice my claw hammer, which I'm not very good at, but when I practice it, I am using that uke.
Oh, cool.
And I have actually Aaron and Nicole's book for beginning claw hammer.
Also, Craig, from the tech side, I'm just realizing I've done this whole video, but I've just been looking at a picture of myself the whole time.
Yes, that's how it's gonna be. So because we're doing the weird thing with the Skype in the OBS, you're not gonna be able to see me.
Okay.
I know it's hard to not be able to see me because I'm so pretty, but
oh goodness,
it's just we'll have to make sacrifices.
I just wanted to see the baby. That's all.
Well, we'll send you pictures. Let's see. Let's check on baby. Right. Oh, his hair in the back is so funny.
Hey, Bubba.
When you watch this feed again, Aaron, you'll get to see him right now, and because all of this will be archived and we can watch it again just for fun. But Aaron, thank you guys for taking the time to do this. What's nice about these little tech rehearsals too is that we can spend a little bit more time chatting and catching up compared to like the crazy rush that will be next week, which everything is going to be like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
But thank you for being a part of it. Thank you guys for donating your time to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And again, just like Evernote's, and his graphics are on the top right there. But beansprout.com, check out their stuff. They have a ton of great music online, some really great books to learn from. As well as ukes for sale. So please check them out. Aaron, give our love to Henry and Nicole.
Yes.
I will.
And thank you
talk
guys.
to you folks.
You too.
Good to see you. Oh yeah.
And Craig, we have to talk real soon about something Scott's working on because it's going to be right up your alley. So let's message about that later.
Woo-hoo.
Sounds great. Thanks, buddy.
Okay. See you on April 11th.
Yes.
Woo.
Bye.
Now, one person in the feed actually asked if the banjoleles were heavy. I don't think his banjoleles are actually that heavy. There's definitely other ones that are way heavier. They're obviously going to be heavier than your normal just solid wood ukulele because there's metal parts on it, but it's actually not too bad. So Cameron's hanging out. He just woke up from a nap, and so he's just being really chill. hanging out with us, and he had a little bit to eat. So now we're getting ready. We're going to be seeing our good friend Brittany Paiva. She's going to be joining us also on the 11th with a performance. So Craig is getting her situated via Skype. It should be a lot of fun. She had taken a little bit of a break, and she is actually going to be back touring once all the virus stuff is over, of course. But she's it's been really fun being able to catch up with her again. Because I remember, I think the first time I met Brittany was the Utah Ukulele Festival. It was their first one. And gosh, this was, I think Aaron and Nicole were at that one too, now that I think about it. But that one was, I think, 2013 or something around that time period. I'm not totally sure. But oops, sorry, Cameron. Hi, Bubba. But I'm just going to triple check.
Okay, I sent a little thing to Brittany.
Okay. She says she's on standby via text, so check Skype. So we'll see. Technology is amazing, right? Because you can like communicate with people so many different ways. It's crazy. Hi, Bubba. Hi. Yeah. I'm going to turn him around because I think hi, sweetie. Mwah. Oh, baby. So sorry,
Brittany,
Bubba.
if you're listening, I'm trying to find you on Skype. I think I waved to your account.
Yes. Oh, she didn't. She says she's not seeing you. Okay, let's see here. Craig Chee. Whoops, Craig.
See, this is exactly why we do things.
This is why we do tech rehearsals. There we go. There we go. Good boy. Oh, this poor baby. These headphones. Just gonna move that back so I don't bump you again. But Brittany's really awesome. She's won several Nahoku awards. She's performed with Carlos Santana, and is just an amazing musician. I remember the first time I met her, I was just blown away by her playing, and it was really cool. She was very, very gracious.
Okay,
and even was like, oh, let's play together. So it was so neat. I was so nervous, I think, the first time meeting her, just because she really is a fantastic musician. As you all are going to get to hear, because she's going to be doing performing.
Yay, hi, Brittany.
For us. So, and I think we've got her already lined up. Hey, Brittany, how are you?
Ooh, we do. Oh.
Excellent.
Let me see. Can you talk for me for just a hair? I think you're much softer than our previous guest, and I'll kind of double check on that.
Okay. Check 1, 2, testing 1,
Awesome.
2, 3. I see Denny in the chat calling for looping videos.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome, Craig. Yeah. Thank you for turning her up a little bit.
Okay, I think that's good. Well, I'll try to boost that. Is there any way to boost your mic signal? Oh,
yes,
awesome.
Oh, perfect! Yay!
Okay, so I have everything running through my my interface. Everything that's going through my studio equipment. So, my gain was all the way down.
Whoops. It's all good. How have you been?
I've been really good. I'm having the time of my life. On quarantine. It's great.
I know it's one thing that there's been several silver linings for us. With all of this, and one of them is being able to work on ideas that you've said, oh, I just don't have time now. Are you having some of those?
So much time. Like it's been good because I was absent from the music industry for a while, and so this time is perfect to start interacting with my fans and friends again, and yeah, it's been great. And then spending lots of time working on all the merch too. So
Awesome.
it's been good.
Now I'm gonna pop in for just a second and
Please
say
do.
Brittany, the first time I actually met you and got a chance to actually hang out with you was actually at the Cairns Australia Ukulele Festival, like ages ago.
Yeah, that was I think back in 06. No,
Oh
07.
my gosh,
sometime
like
around
that.
there.
And
Yeah.
you were so gracious, and you even jumped on a song with me and everything, and it just meant the world. Thank you so much for.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure.
The thing is, there's not, most, I would say most uke people are super welcoming and
Oh
whatnot,
yeah.
but there are some that make it really hard to connect with, and and I just wanted to thank you for being super incredible with not only other artists but with the attendees and everyone. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say
Thank you.
thank you for that, and it's been um, really nice to know that you're kind of getting it back out there, because we need more great music, and great
Yeah.
energy,
Thank
especially
you.
during
Thank
this
you.
Do
time.
you have
Appreciate it.
another album coming out, or that you're writing for?
I'm working on it. Yeah, I've been I spent yesterday kind of like yesterday was one of those days where I wanted to like record every single
Oh.
song, but then you can't record every single
No.
song in one day. So I actually spent most of the day just like thinking, okay, how am I gonna do this song? How am
Right.
I gonna do that? So just kind of weeding through the list. But
Cool. That's awesome.
yeah,
And oh,
so I've been working
nice.
on it.
And oh, somebody, by the way, somebody says cool hoodie. Can you tell us about your hoodie?
Yes, this is my one of my official BP merch.
What?
So the story, if those of you aren't familiar with the whole BP concept, let me move my mic out of the way here. What this actually, I have it on my sleeve, easier. So this is B on the outside and P on the inside. So my initials.
Oh yeah,
So the design was designed by my girlfriend Janine.
that's awesome.
So we print everything here at home. So
That's
yeah,
rad.
that's the merch. So we do have different colors of hoodies. We have I think a gray and black one, blue and black, the white and purple.
Nice.
We also have T-shirts and stickers, and for limited time, we also have some Tell You What CDs. So
Nice. That's awesome. So they can just go to BrittanyPaiva.com and go find your merch and find the hoodie there if they want it. It's awesome.
yep, it'll say merch store in the menu bar, and just click on over to that, and it'll take you to my
That is
store.
rad. How cool. And I know you moved to Oahu. How long have you been there now?
Since September.
Ah, that's awesome.
So
Very, very cool.
it's been good. It's been really
Yeah.
good.
Well, and I know that, Oahu there's so many great resources and lots of different musicians as well, because I know that you're friends with, Brian Tolentino and Herb, and so it's probably nice to be on the same island, yeah?
It is. I've gone to a few of our pedal parties. We have these little gatherings where we just geek out over
my gosh.
equipment, and so Jake will go and
Yeah.
Brian and a couple other people, and it's a riot.
Oh
it's
my
it's
gosh,
hilarious.
to be a
Just-
fly on that wall, how fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Maybe you guys should live stream that.
But it's terrible because Jake will bring his gold
Yeah,
cables,
yeah, yeah.
right? And like we're all over there playing and
Yeah,
playing,
yeah,
and we're
yeah.
like, man,
Craigie?
what where do we have to work to get this?
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm just going to have Craig have Mr. Cameron because he's getting a little fussy and I don't want him to yell in the microphone.
He is the
Thank
cutest.
you.
He is
we
adorable.
think he's the cutest too, but we're his parents, so we're kind of programmed to think that. But
His mullet
oh my
is
gosh,
adorable.
and that's the hair on the back of his neck is what he was born with. He actually had that all over, but it's slowly falling out. But yeah, it's so funny how he's got that like friar. It's not really friar tuck because that would be higher, but that's what it makes me think of. Yes, that's awesome.
And if you guys ever next time you see us in person, ask us to ask me to react the birthing story that
Oh,
night,
jeez.
because it was, oh my gosh, no one no one can really prepare you for that amount of swearing.
There was a lot of swearing involved. It was pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do it again, but yeah, awesome. Now, as far as touring and stuff, I know that obviously right now there's nothing happening currently, but what are sort of your goals and plans, and do you have any gigs that are further out in the year that you want to let folks know about?
Yeah, as far as I know, I believe it's still on, but the Los Angeles Ukulele Festival happening in September. So I'll be there for that. I was supposed to go to Tahiti the week before, but that's canceled. So yeah, but hopefully next year. But yeah, so that's what we got coming up. I'm hoping to get some stuff in the Pacific Northwest later this year.
Awesome.
Maybe. So
Well,
we'll see.
definitely talk to Neil Chin about that, but also any folks, if anybody in the Pacific Northwest would love to see Brittany, please go to her website, go through and go, because you have a contact form, right, Britt?
Yes, I do have a contact
Let her
form
know.
there, and I do post my my schedule
Awesome.
too. So once the gigs start popping back up, then
Woo.
I'll
But
update
yeah,
it.
but send her a note if you want her to come to your town. I know that I still need to send you, I have it, my spreadsheet. I think I finished it finally. Because yes,
Thank
so
you.
I'll be sending you that as well so that you can start doing come down and see us in San Diego. I know that we're not Pacific Northwest.
I would
but
love to.
Yes.
Southwest.
Yes, exactly. We would absolutely love to have you come down here for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to be there.
Awesome. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there were any other questions I had.
Is there any kind of preview to a song that you're working on that you might want to?
Oh,
to-
yes.
Mm, maybe. Yeah, I can probably do
Awesome.
something.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany.
Okay, so for the ukulele nerds out there, I'm using an Anuenue UT3K.
Ooh, it sounds really nice.
It does sound really
Wow.
nice. That's the whole reason why I
Yeah.
got it. Let's see. Okay, so I'll do. I have a couple different versions of lights that I've been working on for the album. So this is maybe one that I might put on it. I'm not too sure yet. But so we'll try this, the acoustic version.
Nice.
That sounds awesome.
Very, very nice.
Thank you. Oh, I also wanted to make mention too that for this weekend only, I do have a discount going on for on my website for
Cool.
merch.
So get the hoodies.
If you yes, get hoodies, get everything. But the discount code is weekend and it's 15% off the entire
Nice.
order.
Wow,
That's
that's great.
fantastic. Now, Brittany, remind me. I know you're doing a pre-recorded concert kind of thing for us for next week. Are we also doing a mini little chat kind of thing beforehand, or would
Um, I
Oh.
haven't decided yet.
You still have some time. You still have some time.
Yeah, I do gotta get the video to you.
No, no, that wasn't a nudge in that sense, but no, but I mean, anything would be. It's always amazing to hear you play.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do something fun with us here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys for always doing your live streams, and next week is gonna be a lot
We're
of fun.
excited. It's gonna be a lot. We're gonna see how much fun by like hour 6 is
I know,
gonna
right?
be, but
It's gonna be intense, but I think
Yeah.
it'll be good.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We cannot wait to see you on the 11th. It's going to be a blast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
Awesome.
me.
See you soon, Britt.
Bye.
Awesome. Don't forget.
That's so cool.
Definitely check out BrittanyPaiva.com.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And yes, the question, when somebody asked, are you going to let the Hawaii folks sleep a little later? Yes. With the way the schedule is, we did take that kind of stuff into account. I think the very first person on the schedule, it's a play along with Cynthia Kanunen, who is on the East Coast, since it's later in the day for them. So we're kind of going across the United States, in a sense,
Yeah,
with our
just
schedule.
for reference, like so not only do we have to worry about the tech side here, but like scheduling. We've been doing tests all throughout the week with people. This is we do the kind of live thing once every Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of
Yes.
coffee.
And
involved.
you're gonna see Cameron a lot because we are in lockdown and quarantine. We're not really supposed to have a babysitter, so it's gonna be really fun.
Now, and a couple things too. We do have a Cynthia Lynn motto from Ohana that we're going to give away next week as well. You can be anywhere in the world. We're going to take care of shipping.
Yep.
We also have a
Islander by Connie Leah that will also be giving away too. And the other thing I also want to add with the giveaways is that we will have festival packets for everyone. In order to be able to get the packet, you will have to input your email address and your name. And the reason that we're doing this is so that your name will automatically be put into the drawing. It's just easier for us to go ahead and pre-gather that information. So if you want to be eligible for the drawings, and there's going to be multiple drawings because there's also GHS strings, as well, subscription to our online school with Artist Works, subscription to Ukulele Magazine.
we have an Islander by Kanalea.
Right. So it's in order to be able to do that, you will have to input your email and all of that. And if you're on our mailing list, we will be sending out an email saying the packets are ready.
Yes. Now, a couple big announcements too. Later today, we will make public the schedule version 1. Things are probably going to change a little bit,
Yeah.
but we'll have the schedule out by today. 2, between last week and today, we had Brian Tolentino on to do a test, and for some reason he shaved his whole head live on Facebook. So we are raising money for some great wigs for him.
Yes.
But 3, we decided. Oh, you wanna?
I'm gonna go hang.
Okay, let me switch to this. One of the things that we decided to do because of the great response that we've been getting from everyone, both from the artist side and the attendee side, we're gonna do this all again on May 2nd. We're gonna have our Not So Mini Uke Fest Part 2, and we have Lil Rev, we have Ukulele, we have Abe Lagrimas Jr., we have PD Mac, who's going to be hosting some amazing play-alongs as well. We have Steven Espinola. We were trying to get Herboto Jr., but he says he's kind of busy, so we'll see. We'll send it, nudge him a little bit. But we have a lot more people to reach out to and see if they'll be a part of it. We're doing our best, and again, we can't thank you guys enough for your support and hanging out with us. And again, shout out to our Artist Work students for really all that support that's letting us have the time to do this kind of stuff. If you guys do want to donate, again, we have donation links for all of our artists featured on our website. There's also a link for donations to us if you want to help support some of the stuff we're doing. We have that all on the website. I'm not really going to push that here, but it's just one of those things. If we've had a lot of questions, and thank you for those who have donated. It definitely does help. Other than that, I think this is the last tech rehearsal before next Saturday. And again, we're hoping, and the thing with the live stuff too, it's always a crap shot in the sense of, internet might be very laggy that day, or there might be construction, or, that one cable that worked all of a sudden doesn't work anymore. So I know there's going to be things, or baby gets hungry or needs to be changed, especially because we're kind of in lockdown. I think it's just going to be us. Oh yeah, website, the packets aren't ready yet. The schedule will be announced today. The packets, we're still waiting on a few artists to get us their PDFs, but we'll have the packets available hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday. There's Herb. Everyone tell Herb in the chat to make sure he joins us for May 2nd. But again, thank you guys for being part of this absolutely amazing community with the ukulele and music. Thank you for all the well wishes with the baby Cameron. We've just been blown away by hearing everything from tips to words of wisdom to even just like hang in there, it gets better. And I'm glad. Thank you for taking the time to kind of help us with some of the sound and video things. Again, we are always changing. Things are always changing. I hope you enjoyed some of the kind of behind the scenes tour that we did earlier. If there are there any other questions or things we can talk about? But I think again, all you have to do next week is enter your email name to be entered for the giveaways. Plus, the packets will be available hopefully by next Tuesday, Wednesday. The live link will always be the same, and they'll be archived, and you can always watch it again later. I appreciate you guys for taking your time out of your Saturday and joining us. And
Sorry.
I think, oh, no worries. I think we'll give you a little bit of Cameron before we leave.
Cam.
The cam. Well,
Or do you want me to
yeah,
just
you
hold
can
it?
just hold him.
Sorry, folks. We had a situation on the changing table. Oh, let go, mommy's hair. Let go. Let go. Let go. Okay, we're not gonna let go of mommy's hair. But that's okay. Say bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Little Cameron. Yes, you're so precious. We're so lucky. Spend all this time with you.
Awesome. Well, I gotta. Oh, focus on me. Okay, there. But thank you guys again so very much.
Yes.
Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We will see you guys live for our big event next week. Thank you again to all the artists for stopping by and taking the time. And we will see you guys soon. Aloha.